Hey boys and girls, it's Mrs. Walker. For our lesson today, we're going to talk about how we can use different strategies that we've already learned to help us solve subtraction problems, specifically when we have lots of zeros when we're subtracting. So our learning goal for today says, I can use and explain different strategies to subtract from multiples of 100 and from numbers with 0 in the tens place. So the materials that you'll need for this lesson are just your dry erase board, so make sure you grab that before you get started. All right, so we're going to get started with 300 minus 159. Can we use the vertical form to subtract quickly? Can we just look at those real quick and go, boom, I got this. I know exactly how to do it, and I'll solve it super fast. Nope, probably not. And that's probably because we would have to decompose numbers and unbundle twice to subtract because we have 2 zeros up there. So let's talk about how we can use the compensation strategy to help us solve this easier. So here's our problem again, 300 minus 159. I'm going to draw this on my tape diagram. There's my whole. One of the parts is 159 and the other part is unknown. So if I look at 300, it's super close to 299. And if I can just subtract 1, I'm going to be at that 299 and I won't have to do any unbundling to be able to solve that problem. So remember, what you do to one number, you have to do to the other. So we have 300 minus 1, which would give us 299. We have 159, and we would have to subtract 1 to get to 158. So now we can set that up vertically and solve this problem pretty quickly using our vertical form. So in the ones place, 9 minus 8 is 1. In the tens place, 9 minus 5 is 4. And in the hundreds place, 2 minus 1 is 1. So 300 minus 159 equals 141. Now that's just compensation strategy. Remember, what you do to one number, you have to do the same to the other number to keep those numbers equal apart from each other. All right, so now it's your turn. So go ahead and pause the video. Try and solve 500 minus 257 using the compensation strategy. Okay, so what you do to one number, you have to do to the other. If it's helpful for you to draw out your tape diagram or your model, go ahead and do that. And then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, make sure to pause if you need more time. Otherwise, here we go. All right, so here's my 500, my 257, that's the other part, and then my unknown. Well, I'm going to subtract 1 from both numbers so I can get from 500 to 499, and then I won't have to decompose at all or unbundle. Then remember, because I subtracted 1 from 500, I'm left with 499. Then from 257, I'm going to subtract 1 also, and I'm at 256. Now I can set those numbers up vertically and subtract pretty easily. So start in the ones place, 9 minus 6 is 3. 9 minus 5 is 4, and then 4 minus 2 is 2. So 500 minus 257 equals 243. Did you guys get that? Okay, awesome, friends. If not, this is a tricky strategy, so if it's not your strategy of choice, that's okay, but it's a great one to still be exposed to because it can help you solve problems much quicker if that's a strategy that you become comfortable with. Okay. All right, so now we're going to talk about adding to solve. So this is where we're going to really use the arrow way to help us. And I know a lot of you prefer to use the arrow way, so let's check this one out. So we have 400 minus 278. So when we use the arrow way, we can start with 278 and count up to 400. So let me show you how to do that. So we're going to start, let me model with our number bond first. So we have our whole, and our part is 278, and our other part we don't know. So we're going to start with 278 and add however much, right? That's our unknown to get to 400. So let's start with that. 278, I'm going to add 2 to get to a friendlier number of 278. I want something that ends at a 0 because that's easier for me to be able to add. And now my 280, I'm going to add 20 more to get to 300. Then if I'm at 300, I only have to go to 400. So that's super close, super easy. I'm just going to add 100 more to get to 400. Now to find out what I added and what would be our missing part, you have to add what you added on top in your arrow way. So 2 plus 20 is 22, plus 100 more is 122. So 400 minus 278 is 122. Okay? So now you guys are going to get a chance to use this strategy. So you're going to add to solve, that's our strategy, and you're going to use the arrow way to help you. So 600 minus 314. So go ahead and look at how we have 314 plus, right? The unknown we're adding is going to be part of our arrow way to get to 600. So pause the video, go ahead and solve this strategy starting with 314 using the arrow way to get all the way to 600. And then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, pause if you need more time. Otherwise, here we go. So I'm going to start at 314. I'm going to add 6 this time to get to 320. Then I'm going to add 80 because then I'll get me to 400. And then I can add 200 to get to 600. So then to find out our unknown part, we would add these numbers right here on top of our arrow way. So 286 is the difference between 600 and 314. Did you guys get that? All right, rock on. Good job, friends. All right, so this time we have 605 minus 498. What strategies could we use to solve this problem? Now we could use that vertical form, right? We could use the compensation strategy, or we could use the adding to solve with the arrow way. So go ahead and pause the video, choose one of these strategies, and then solve this problem. And then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, make sure to pause if you need more time. Otherwise, here's some ways that I solved it. So first I started with the arrow way. Okay, so we have our problem. We're going to start at 498 and use the arrow way to get to 605. Okay, so we're finding that unknown part right there. So I can add 2 to get to 500. Then I can add 100 to get to 600. Oh, and then only 5 more to get to 605. I combine 2 plus 100 plus 5 to get my unknown part, which is 107. So check that out. 605 minus 498 is 178, using the arrow way to add to solve. Now, maybe some of you use the compensation strategy for this one. This is a little bit trickier of a way to use this strategy, but still pretty cool. So I'm going to draw my tape diagram here, my model. 605, 498, and then my unknown part. Now, I want to be able to find stuff where I don't have to unbundle or decompose anything. So then I would subtract 6 for this one. So you have to do the same to the top and the bottom. So 605 minus 6 is 599. Those 9s up there make it so we don't have to unbundle anything. Okay. Then we would also have to do 498 minus 6, which is 492. So my new subtraction problem is 599 minus 492. No decomposing or unbundling there, so this one's much easier to solve this way now. So 9 minus 2 in the ones place is 7. 9 minus 9 in the tens place is 0. And 5 minus 4 in the hundreds place is 1. So 107 is the difference between 605 and 498. Okay, so either one of those strategies gave you the same difference, so you have that choice on which one you prefer to use. All right, so nice work, friends. You guys did a wonderful job using different strategies to subtract, especially with those multiples of 100 and the 0 in the tens place. So please head back on over to the module to see what you need to complete for your independent practice. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I've been more than happy to help, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, friends.